You remember when you got your visa? You remember how good it felt? You've told your friends, your families and coworkers that how much you're gonna fly away. You remember when you were in the plane and when it's about to land and you saw the big cities and bright lights and how you felt, whoa, you're gonna live the good life. Now you're in the land of milk and honey. You remember when you walked the malls and the streets and when you looked up and saw those buildings and when you look in the malls and you saw the brand name this and the brand name that and the Gucci this and the Michael Kors, and you felt so good. All the luxury, all the materialism. But don't lose focus, because before you came you had a plan. You said, I want to go to Canada or America or England. You want to go make a better life. But as all the information from the stores and all the materialism hit your mind, you have a high possibility of losing focus. In immigrant number 1, I mentioned to you that the first thing you do when you go to a foreign country, you learn, then you earn. But if you earn and never learn, you get burned. So therefore, the first thing you do is to learn when you get here. After you learn, you get a good job to earn. Then the first thing you do, don't buy no brand name stuff. Buy a house. Because you have to live somewhere. And when you buy that house, the value will go up over time. Then you'll have the accessibility to get more capital like line of credit, credit cards, and all of those other credits to start a business or buy a house back home. But remember, with credit comes responsibility, because if you get crazy with your credit and start to buy all of those things, you will pay the price. So after you buy a house here, or if you have enough money, buy a house back home. The reason for that, because you must never, ever, ever forget where you're coming from, because buying a house back home is in case they deport you. Buying a house back home is also for retirement. Buying a house back home is also for investment, because if you ever pay attention from where you came from, a lot of Chinese and Indians are moving there because what happened, their country has become overpopulated. While you're here in, say, North America and Europe, if you pay close attention, you always see immigrants from Asia doing good business. If you listen to the news carefully and pay close attention, do you realize that Mr. Donald Trump, the new American president, is now shipping out immigrants like cattle? He's loading them up and shipping them out, the ones who commit petty crime. Now, if you pay close attention again, if you ever watch Jerry Springer or Maury Povich or any one of those talk shows, as long as you live, you'll never see a Jew on the program acting a fool. You'll never see a Chinese or an Indian or a Japanese or a Korean acting a fool. It is always 3 particular groups: poor blacks, poor whites, and poor Latino. You know why? Low value systems, not discipline, and believe if they spread their garbage that they will get fame. Never sell yourself short. Asians don't do that. If you pay close attention to see who Mr. Trump is deporting, He's not deporting Jewish people, as I mentioned, nor Indian, Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. It's only poor blacks and poor Latino. Because many of us, when we come here, we want to get rich quick. But getting rich quick with no discipline always leads to prison or deportment. That is why when you hear the lottery stand is always full, people buying lotteries, because they have no discipline. It always poor people buy lotteries, not rich people, because they know that discipline over time will give you your wealth. So, like I said before, to avoid your deportation, invest well, don't commit crime. Buy a house back home, never from where you grew up. Because if you go back home, is the one who you grew up around gonna eat you. Buy a nice home somewhere far in a different area, maybe in a gated area, so you can be a peace of mind. So when you retire, you can retire in peace. Now, I want you to also observe this when you come here. There are many people with different value systems. Don't hang around young women who have the concept that the more babies they get, the more money the government gonna give them. If you follow that train of thought, you're creating babies, or you're becoming a baby factory for the prison system. Because the kids are not raised with the standards and values they need to build and become productive in society. You are creating babies for the prison industrial complex. And if you pay close attention to the ones who are getting the baby money, they're not using the money to buy a house from where they came from. Because all that money they get, they could buy a house back home. What they do, if you pay close attention, as the end of the month comes, the hair has to get done and the nails has to get done. That is madness. And if you're a young man, don't believe you're gonna breed like rabbit and pump your sperm all over. No. Educate yourself, save, work hard, invest well, buy a house. Or if you don't have a job, create one. You can push snow, you can cut lawn, you can do whatever, but make an honest bread. I have never seen the righteous man forsaken or begging bread. Nothing too good will God withhold from those who walk uprightly. I kid you not. Don't lose your spiritual foundation when you come here and get caught up in the materialism. Don't lose your values. Don't lose your morals. Don't lose your discipline. And never, ever, ever forget where you're coming from. My advice to you also, have a standard. Carry yourself with dignity. Don't commit crime. Don't break the laws. Remember what you came here for. Remember, you might have had 2 or 3 pair of shoes like myself before I came here. Don't come here on all to buy all the brand name things you can see, all the smart, all the stuff. No. Buy books. Educate yourself. Buy properties. And I guarantee you, you will never be an immigrant that you see on television lately, getting deported, living in Europe and North America 20 years, 15 years and have nothing. It is a disgrace. It is a shame. To know that we had a chance to be better. And because we didn't listen to wise advice, we didn't go to school, we went to rum bars, we went to clubs, we went to party, we went to all this closed foolishness, and we don't invest our money. And when the ship was off, we blame the system. No! That is why I've said before, they don't normally ship out Asians. Only blacks and Latinos predominantly get shipped out because they don't have, not all, some of them don't have the discipline and values and have a vision of where they're going. The Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. There is safety in the midst of wise counsel, seek advice. Be the best you can be and rise to a higher standard. These nations are built by immigrants. Be the good and productive and prosperous immigrant. Thank you.